Hey there! Today we are reviewing the Deluxe Zeo Megazord from Power Rangers Zeo. This particular item is from around 1996. The one I have is complete, and it's in pretty decent shape. There's some scuff marks as to be expected for a 23-year-old toy, and some sticker issues, but nothing crazy, and it's all in one good piece and all that kind of thing. So yeah, should start off by saying I love this Zord. I really like the design of it a lot, especially coming off what we had in Mighty Morphin with dinosaurs and mythical creatures and weird animal hybrid humanoids, and then of course just animals. This kind of did a whole mythological angle, but in a different way, because there's also a lot of technology involved, which really has to do a lot more with the Sentai and you know how that is, because they don't really super touch on it in Power Rangers, but despite the Machine Empire being the villain. But we'll get to that. So we'll start by pointing out and naming off the Zords. They were incredibly creative, sarcasm, with names. You've got Zeozord 1, Zeozord 2, Zeozord 3, went out of order there, Zeozord 4, and Zeozord 5. Now, that's it. That's their names. So, but clearly these things are based off of things. This is based off of the Moai, which I may have said incorrectly, but it's the statues you'd find on Easter Island. This is the Dogu, which are types of statues and whatever humanoid figures from ancient Japan. I'm not super versed in the I guess all the ancient history, so I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. This is the internet after all. Then you've got Zeozord 3 again, which is a Sphinx, which is amazing, and we need more Sphinxes as Zords. I don't think there has been another one since then, and the closest thing I can think of would be the Manticore, I think was what it was called, the Manticore Zord. It's been a while since I've seen Mystic Force. Yes, we've had lions, but not sphinxes, sphinxi. I don't know what the plural of a sphinx is, but that's not important. Then you've got the bull, the Taurus, whatever you want to call it. If you want to go astrologically, that's a word. And then you've got a phoenix, which we all know how much I love phoenix, phoenixi, phoenixes. I don't know. Today's episode is sponsored by how to pronounce words and the plural forms of them. So we'll start with Zeozord 5, which is Tommy Zord, unsurprisingly, because he became the Red Ranger this season. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's got good detail as far as the wings, and I love the gold stickers and how shiny and reflective, and see if we can get that in there. There's some detail on them, just lines and etches and that kind of thing. It's kind of hard to see, but oh, there we go. It's there. You know, and it doesn't do much. You could, in theory, play with the claws and be like, oh, my talons are gonna scratch the monster, and the wings go like this, so I guess you could go to like high-speed flying mode and that kind of thing, but they don't really flap or anything, which, you know, it's just gonna soar through the sky, that kind of thing. So something else I like about these, and I'll show it because it's most obvious here, is even though these are based on creatures or artifacts or what have you, they're clearly machines, and they have cockpits. Like, they're clearly meant to be piloted. So you've got the one up here, which is pretty nice there. Then presumably on the Zeozords back here, you would have, I would assume those would be the cockpits for those two. Then you can see it on the Taurus and then up here on the Sphinx. But yeah, this basically completes the overview of Zeozord 5. So I'm actually going to put him over here to the side so we can talk about these because his wingspan takes up a lot of room. So Zeozord 1, you've got neat detail. Like I said, it's based off the Moai statues. It's kind of hard to spot it if you're not looking for it, though. There's a silver sticker here, which shows you where the like the eyes would be in the statue. So if you see that, then it all makes sense. You've got wheels down here, which are not rubberized or anything, but they are wheels. They do roll. You also have the cannon for lots of firing power. Now, something I've seen in other pictures and reviews and that kind of thing is, since these do, spoilers, become helmets for the Zeo Megazord, you can see where it's become the helmet, but I see people putting it like this, which doesn't really make sense. Same for 2. So it's supposed to be like this, so the function is hidden. There's also a switch here on the back, which when you pop it, boom, rockets that are stationary and do not shoot out. So, but it is a cool little detail. So that is Zeozord 1. Zeozord 2 is basically the same thing. Like I said, it is a Dogu sticker design. I was thinking about the sticker right here that is missing. I did not pull that off. It just did not come with it. Like I said, this one is missing a few things. But there's supposed to be a big yellow bar where you couldn't see the screws and that kind of thing. You've got adjustable laser rocket cannons? I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, they shoot. You've got the same wheels, that kind of thing. And you also have a switch on this one. And then you rotate them forward. And boom, you got proton cannons or something. Iron Man would be jealous. So we're gonna collapse those back in. They do go back and stop. They don't rotate or anything, which I guess wouldn't be important. Then we're gonna go to 3. Now, despite how much I like this Sphinx design, it is very basic. It doesn't really do anything. You can move the legs and kind of pretend it's running, but that's mostly because of the way transformation requires it to be. But you can play with it. The claws also adjust, but that is again for Megazord mode. I love how shiny chrome gold-ish it is. I don't know what you would call that. I guess it's golden chrome. It looks really nice. It's very shiny, very sparkly. Despite this being old and not really very clean. I should have cleaned these. It looks good. It doesn't have any obvious parts, though. Missing parts. You'll notice that these look like they're 2 different tones. Could be age, could just be a painting issue. I don't remember that being a thing on my other one, my original one when I owned it, but that was 23 years ago. And also the tail moves, so you can position that as you see fit. Finally, you have Zeozord 4, which does nothing. You can't move its legs. It's not posable in the slightest, except for the tail, so you can adjust that. And the helmet / head looks pretty good. Mine is loose. I seem to remember every version of this I've owned, which this is my 3rd one. Let's not get into that. Had trouble like holding the head. It's a little loose, and of course I'm shaking it, so that's not helping. But specifically this horn does not like to stay in at all, so I won't be surprised if it falls out at least 3 times during this. But he looks cool. He just doesn't do anything. And I guess in theory, if we had once again kept the Mighty Morphin suits, this could pass as a Black Zord with just green accents, kind of like they did with the lion. But I don't think that would have worked for Super Zeozord 4, which will come up at another time. So yeah, that's it on their own. See, it came out. But these have kind of a chariot mode, which is neat. And I'm sure somebody, as I was showing off 1 and 2, was like, but you forgot this thing. No, I didn't. I was waiting for this moment. So right here in this front chassis compartment, you have golden strings that come out with a little mechanism back there that keeps them in place, though there's not a lot of light, so it's kind of hard to show you. In the Japanese version, these were gold-plated, gold-colored metal chains, I'm pretty sure. But in America, and possibly Europe, I don't know, they were changed to golden thread strings. Probably because my generation, bless their hearts, liked to bite metal, I guess, or hurt other kids with toys, slinging them around. Basically, Americans cannot be trusted. So they converted these to strings, which, whatever, it's fine. But they come out, and on the ends of them, you have these little peg pieces which go into one of the two Zords. You can hook up to whatever. I'm pretty sure the way I'm going to do it is the way it was done on the show, but I don't remember actually. So, but anyway, on this front piece, you'll see there's two slots there. Basically, you pull the string, well, or you slam it and almost smash your finger, but you pull the strings through them and just kind of latch it on there. So you do that on both. It's hard to do around the camera because, you know, performance anxiety, something like that. So basically, you close it up and you don't let it bundle up or bunch up like it was doing. Boom. There you go. So you take these, and on the Sphinx, the little ports are there and there on the edges. So we're gonna plug this in, and like I said, you might be able to see some of the peeling stickers, or you might not, because the camera might not focus on it, which, thanks camera, that's awesome. I appreciate you making me look better, because Lord knows enough don't do it. So there you go. You got part one. Part two works the same way. I'll pull the strings out, untangle them. They don't really get tangled in mine. I guess you could if you tried, but I just throw them in there and they're fine. Because like most of my stuff is displayed in Megazord form. So same thing, just pull it through, close it up. Now on the Bull, Megazord 4, the ports are there, and same on the other side. The helmet just came off in my hand. You can't see it because I'm holding it in place, but I said it would happen, and now it's happening. So snap that back on, get my fingers stuck in the thread, and then we'll plug this in here, or attempt to. So, boom. You've got a chariot, and it looks like I reversed them. I did. So he was tangled. That would have probably caused a colossal accident. Poor Angel Grove has seen enough damage. Okay, cool. It's fixed. So, yeah, you've got this. In the show, they would come out, they'd pull them. You can see them rolling. This base of this review station doesn't really accommodate wheels very well, like I've said before. But if they were in attack mode, which I feel like they used a few times, those rockets and cannons would be out and firing and doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to pan this a little bit and just let you see. It's a neat little mode. I mean, you could display it like this. And then the hard part is incorporating this guy. So in a perfect world, I'd have little clear glass displays, but I don't. So he can just chill up here and lean forward. But, you know, you could do something like that if you wanted to. But like I said, I like to do Megazords. So let's start that. I'll move this out of the way again, detach everything, and start this transformation, which is not very complicated, which isn't a bad thing. So I'm going to close this up, open this, and throw the thread back in. Not necessarily throw it, but I really don't take any care to put this back in because I've never had trouble with it until this moment where I was trying to do it on camera. But as far as like it tangling or something, no. We're going to take the helmets off, and they can be stored when you open up this flap back here, and I'll show that eventually, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. But the ports for the Bull are under those flaps, which is kind of a neat way of transforming these things, especially considering the time. We'll close 2 back up. Close the cannons. Oops, we'll miss on that one. Take the helmet off. Toss it off to the side and watch it roll around. Flip that back. And there you have 2 feet. Now, for fun, both of them have these little brakes or stops to keep the Megazord from rolling around, which actually I don't usually use in display mode, which not for any specific reason, but in here we'll give it a little bit of better grip on this plasticky material. So bull is next. Fold the tail up, clip these 2 pins back, and just push it in. Head is not supposed to fall off like that, but it does, and I have a feeling it's going to fall off when I'm putting them in. But basically you take the 2 feet on each side and you slide them in there, just like that. So we're going to do this one again. If I'm not doing this on camera and putting my arms around stuff, I can usually get them done both at the same time. So I'm going to pan this up, and you'll see the bull has a little port there, and then that's where the Sphinx comes into play. So we're going to hold him and fold his tail forward, pull the arms down. I guess you could do this in whatever order you wanted to, but this is just how I do it. Pull those out, make sure they're facing outwards, and then split it apart. So you'll see the hands with the feet are facing outwards. That's how they should be. This becomes a helmet, so you just pop it off. And it's pretty simple. You take this head, because you've got this empty space here, you fold it back, and then you fold that whole piece forward. And then you push these front 2 legs back, and you take this piece here, which is kind of hard to see on this black on, but you can see the little piece, and it just goes right there. Pretty easy. I like to keep the mouth open. The tail just kind of hangs out. You can see it there. I just put it like that. I mean, there's nowhere else to really put it. So you go ahead and turn it around. You can see the back side. You know, you'll see the peg holes where the some of those are supposed to sit. And like I said, I'll show you that. But most importantly, that's where Megazord 5 goes. So I'm going to take him and pull the helmet out, which I like how that works because these 2 become little wings. I'll put it back on and kind of show you. But little tail feathers, I guess is the way to put it. So pull that off. This is pretty easy. Open this little port here, and it really just depends on how you want to do it. But I push the legs up, fold that down, and then push the wings down like that, and he just snaps right in. So you've got the base Megazord right there, and then if you want the standard mode, put the red helmet right there. You've got a good, I'll give you a good view of it. Looks pretty cool. I also have the sword. So you can do it like that. Sword all the way up. Or he's got some articulation, which I really appreciate. You rotate the arms around and you pull it up, and he can kind of hold it kind of mid-range like that, which is pretty nice. So I kind of keep it like this so the sword's not 100% in the air and out, and it kind of lets me conserve space on shelves. So this is the base Zeo Megazord. He looks awesome. I love this design. This is the helmet I keep him displayed with. It was really cool in the show. It was really cool on my shelf. I love this thing. I think it's fantastic. So real quick, we're kind of done, but I'm going to show you the different helmets because that was the big gimmick with this. So you take this off, and actually you can store it as well. If you fold that back, it'll be the first one I store. It'll go there. Just because it's the only one on here right now, we'll take helmet 4 off, flip it around, and boom. I'm going to lift this up and let you see because it's kind of tall. But yeah, he's got bull horns. He's kind of cool looking. In the show, he would kind of lean down and charge. The sword wouldn't be involved, though. That would be a good idea, though. Stab him, then puncture him with your horns. So, but that's there. And the cool thing about it is, due to how the Zord is, it just stores right there. Next is probably my favorite helmet. Surprise. You've got the Sphinx mane. And basically it comes up like this, and you rotate this pyramid up. You got the nice triangle symbol there going with the whole shapes and numbers. And you've got kind of an Egyptian pyramid helmet thing. I can't remember what they're actually called. Turban? I don't know. But this one would give them like psychic power, and they could lift enemies up and throw them and slam them against the ground, that kind of thing. So if I were going to display it differently, that's how I would do it. But then if you don't want to put that one, close it back up, and the pegs here actually connect to the pegs on the back, and you store it there. Next would be 2. So you take it and you pull the cannons forward, and obviously you can tell what the gimmick's going to be already, but you get glasses mode so he can see better. No, just kidding. You get rocket launchers or something. So pew pew, like little rockets. It shoots, it scores, that kind of thing. So pull that off, and it goes right there. And then finally is Z01, the cannon, which arguably would probably be the most powerful, considering how gigantic this cannon is. Which is neat because, you know, usually pink is the girly one, the weaker one, whatever. Nah, this time she's gonna shoot you, and you're gonna explode. So that's pretty much it. And that one can be stored right here on the back of Pink's Zord itself. And we're gonna put 5 back on to go back into the default mode. And like I said, this is it. This is how it looks. The sword is cool. I mean, I'll pull it around. You can see on there's a crown, and then there's the Zeo symbol, the Ohranger symbol. Let's see if I can bring this closer. Probably be easier not to pick up the whole thing, but here we are. The lighting isn't fantastic, but you can see it. Like I said, I love this thing. It's pretty cool. It looks really good on the shelf. The gold and the blue just stand out really well. I'm trying to give you a better view of this, but it's not really working out that way. But it's the same Zeo symbol you see on everything Power Rangers related. Oh goodness, that thing is having a moment. It's also on their helmet for Zeo 5, which is right there. I don't know if the camera will focus on it, but you can kind of get an idea. But yeah, this thing is awesome. If you can track it down, it's kind of expensive, I guess, because it's so popular. But I think this one ran me like $90, maybe a little less. But it's a fantastic addition to anyone's collection, and I definitely recommend it. So on that note, make sure to check me out on Instagram at Old God Machinations, and then on Twitter at OG Machinations. They're different. I always have to think about it. And of course, be sure to do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, etc. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye!